Mars bar.
Yes.
Well, if I send you 100 Mars bars, would you send me 100 photos for this church I've just built?
For a church?
Remember me saying the other
The
day?
gargoyles?
Yeah, that's it.
And that's it. Well, for 100 Mars bars, yes. Get them in the post immediately. Hello, Paul.
Alan, I'm phoning up about, you. Why do you like Mars bars?
Because they're very tasty.
Is that all?
Do you mean I need another reason?
Yeah.
I haven't got another reason. I apologise. How do Graham?
Hello. I'd just be interested to know your personal attitude that you take towards your own work, Alan.
I like the money.
No. You said only a few moments ago that it's all about numbers.
Yes.
So presumably you have the same responsibilities to meet as the rest of us guys in terms of paying bills.
Oh, I see. Yes, yes. I've still got to pay. Yes.
So presumably it's in your own interest to keep your job. And so...
The answer to that, I'm sorry, is no. It is in, or would be, in my financial interest to keep my job. And indeed...
What I was particularly interested in was, do you tailor your own approach to your job to gain your audience figures by...
No.
Or are you being true to your own personality?
I'm being true to my media persona.
That wasn't really what I asked, though, was it?
No,
but
that is the true answer. If you're saying, is the person on the radio the person you would meet if you came round to our house to dinner, the answer is no, it is not.
So you're behaving or coming across in a manner that you feel will make you successful in your job?
No, that is not so. What I do is do what I think suits me on the radio.
Yeah.
Now that currently is very, very successful.
Yeah, granted.
It will cease to be successful either next week, tomorrow, next year, in a decade. I don't know.
Yeah, but surely you would admit that part of your particular attraction and part of your success is your outspokenness and your bluntness. And
if you came to this office at any time, Graham, and had to negotiate with me or talk to me at work, you would not be able to spot the join.
Yeah.
When I step out of my door to work, the person you're listening to is the person that does that.
So
when I'm at home, when I am in my cocooned private life, I am obviously a somewhat different person.
Yeah, so your reactions to statements that are made to you on this phone-in line and your instant reactions and your instant verbal reactions might not be the same should these be said privately to you by a friend.
If you mean when I actually say, I think this, let's just answer your question twofold, if you must. But if you mean when I say on the radio, this is what I think, such as membership of CND, hatred of all prejudice, I can't really think of any others. Those are my two main points. Those you would get at home as well. They are me. I am a member of CND because I want to be and have been for, I don't know, 12 years, something like that.
But I was just interested to know because if you tailored your own reaction and your own way you approach this broadcasting position that you have, if you tailored it to keep your ratings up and therefore to keep your job and therefore to keep your popularity and one thing leading on to the other, whether you were doing it simply in a pounds, shillings and pence terms or whether you were actually being...
Well, the answer to your question you can discover because I've actually done an interview about that, exactly that, for the BBC, which will be broadcast at 4 o'clock next Tuesday afternoon on Radio 4.
I shall have to get off work quickly and...
And the question I was asked was, when I broadcast, who am I broadcasting to? They asked me a lot of other questions as well, and I said...
you have an impression of Mr. Adams?
Well, I was going to answer the question as I did then. My answer was, I don't broadcast to anybody. And he said, well, how do you do what you do on the radio? And how do you quantify it? And I said, I don't quantify it. It isn't my job to. When we were talking, when you and I were talking earlier, or I was talking with somebody else earlier, about ratings and about the job is about numbers.
Yeah.
Commercial radio is about numbers. I'm not. I'm merely employed by commercial radio. I don't give a monkeys about numbers. I do what I do. If the audience likes it, I get paid a lot of money. If the audience likes it a bit, I get paid a bit of money. If the audience doesn't like it at all, I get an unemployment check. Yeah, so I still do what I do. I am that arrogant.
That's what I was interested to know, that if you were really under threat of having your contract terminated or whatever the system is...
would I become a cherub?
Would you tailor your style or amend your style or change it in order to keep your job?
No.
You wouldn't?
No.
Can I just, before I go, Alan, ask you another question?
Try.
I'm not a regular listener at night, but I was a regular listener when driving around in the car with the lunchtime programme. Mm-hmm. In terms of job satisfaction, is it not a bit of a disappointment for you having moved to this evening slot?
Good Lord, no.
Well,
that actually shows, Graham, that shows how little you know about the workings. Well, I'll tell you for why.
I'm not a regular...
Okay.
If you let me finish, the thing that comes across to me is, you at least had, at lunchtime, you had quite serious topics or quite topical items to discuss. You didn't have the crackpots ringing up and doing impersonations of Mr. Angry and singing Three Blind Mice and whatever.
Yes, yes.
Do you not find that a bit irritating?
Absolutely not. Should I tell you something?
Yeah.
When I came down here to Red Rose Radio, I came to do the afternoon programme because that was the one they gave me. And since that day, the 5th of October, 1980... When was it? What year were we? 82... I have been campaigning within this organisation to get a late-night phone-in. Since then, because that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And the reason I left Metro Radio, where I was doing a late-night phone-in, was because Metro Radio was in Newcastle upon Tyne, and whilst that is a great place, to me it is not home.
Yeah.
I've come to Lancashire because this is where I belong, this is where I want to be. And I'm now doing what I want to do in my home county, and I'm as happy as a pig in muck. Yeah, and that's perhaps a good analogy.
Yeah, but it doesn't really bother you. I mean, you will accept that at lunchtime you didn't get these fellas ringing up.
I do accept that, yes. That's why I wanted it now.
And that's quite a... Does it not get a bit tiresome? I quite agree some of them are funny, but doesn't it not get a bit tiresome from time to time?
The answer to that is no.
Oh, well.
Because I don't know what they are when they come on.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you for talking to me.
It's all right. You sound like a newspaper journalist, all the questions. How do, Fred?
Hello. Hello, Alan.
Hello.
I'd like to know why at Christmas pensioners get £10 and people on the unemployment benefit get nothing, especially when they've got children as well.
Well, they don't get nothing because they've got children. They get nothing because nobody but pensioners gets it.
Well, do you not think that the unemployed need it more than the pensioners?
The reason they don't get it is not what I think, but what the government of the day thought. Basically, it was a vote getter. Initially, when I think it was the Labour government that did it first, it doesn't matter, it was a vote getter. They thought, everyone will think we're dead kind. If we give the pensioners 10 quid, they'll think we're really lovely. And now every government has had to do it and will have to keep doing it, because no government's going to stop it, because they're going to look so mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Cheers. Ta-ra. Dave will be with you quite soon.
Be serious, man. You want me to play tennis? I only came over to get a car from International Ford. You must have heard of them on the Garstang Road at Broughton, just north of Preston. They're the tops for new cars, service, the whole deal.
But, sir, it's the doubles final.
Final schminal. Call up International Ford. It's Preston 862-601. I'm on my way.
But what about the spectators?
They can buy their own cars. What am I, Mr. Nice Guy or something?
Well, sir, I really do think you do owe it to the spectators. After all, it wasn't their fault to us the other day.
Dave Barron Caravans and Awnings, Chapel Lane, Coppell, near Chorley.
For caravanning today, you get the #1 choice at Dave Barron.
Open 7 days a week.
For a tasty treat with a difference, try genuine Turkish kebabs from as little as £1.50 for a large Turkish doner kebab at the In-N-Out Kebab licensed restaurant and takeaway. Open every evening till 3 a.m. at 71A Dixon Road, Blackpool. That's the In-N-Out Kebab licensed restaurant and takeaway. Call in for a free taste.
0772 56 1000's the number for the phone in. How do Dave?
Hello, Alan.
Hello.
Could you send me a signed autograph, please?
No, you'll have to write in, ask me then, send an envelope with a stamp on it and your address, and I'll be happy to do so. How do Anthony?
Hello. I'd just like some help. A couple of days ago, you gave out an address for a society that looks after copyrights and things on there.
I didn't give the address out, I gave out the name of the society, and it is Registered Stationers Hall. You can get the address probably from the Telephone Book of London under R, and you'll find that in the library. Alternatively, you can get the address off the library, they'll have it somewhere, or you can get it from your Citizens Advice Bureau, okay?
Yes, well, do they do it for computer software as well? Because I'm setting up a...
They do it for all documents.
Yeah, I'm setting up a company scoping software and I want to...
Well, the answer is they do it for all documents, all right?
Right, thank you.
All right now. Malcolm, I'll do.
Oh, well, no, the German girl. Last week you phoned up and you said you invited her down to the drones.
Yes.
Did you get around to come round, yeah?
Yes, she came round on Wednesday.
Did she enjoy herself, yeah?
She seems to have done.
When does she go back?
To Germany?
Yeah.
I think on Saturday or Sunday.
Oh, yeah. What time did you take her around, like?
Why do you want to know?
Was it in your own spare time, like, yeah?
Why do you want to know, was the question.
Because I want to know if you've done it, like, without getting paid for it. Which I think you did, like, but...
Well, I don't get paid for showing people round, if that's the question, but I was in the building at the time.
Okay, and some girl from Kirby phoned up that night, and you said you had a bit of a laugh with her, like.
Very good.
And she asked you, and you said no. Why is that?
Because I didn't feel like.
Oh, and I'd say I like Georgie's as well.
Well, I'll see if I can find one for you. How do Sandra? Hello, Sandra?
Hello?
Oh, we've got you. Yes?
Hiya, doesn't it take a long time to get through?
Yes, it does. It doesn't take me any time at all, but I get through every time. What can I do for you?
Do what?
There's no answer to that. What can I do for you?
Well, actually, there's 9 girls sitting here round a table playing cards, and we thought you'd like to join us because we're playing for big Mars bars. Do you fancy it?
Is that a question to do with the Mars bath?
Well, whatever. As well. Yeah?
I couldn't cope with the alternative, but yes, I'd rather fancy a game of cards for Mars bars.
Shall I leave my name and address for you?
Well, I'm a little bit busy right now, love.
Oh.
It may come as a shock to you, but I'm stuck here till 2 o'clock in the morning.
At 2 o'clock, we'll still be here.
Oh, I'll be too tired then.
No, you won't.
Yes, I'm sure. The trouble is, you see, I mean, you're very nice and all that, I'm sure, but I have a wife at home that I prefer.
Well, you can bring her as well.
If you can wake my wife up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're a better person than I am.
Why does she not like Mars bars?
She doesn't like waking up.
Oh, does she not?
No.
Oh.
Not at all. Oh. Especially if the big ogre like me's in bed next to her.
Hey, by the way, when you're on Brookside, we've been looking out.
Well, I was on last Monday, and I'll be on the big edition on Saturday.
So we'll see you on Saturday.
You may well.
Great.
All right.
Thanks, Alan.
I hope you win something. Hello, Neil.
Hello, Alan. Could I talk about surgical smear test, please?
The word is cervical, so obviously you can't. You don't know enough about it. Hello, Martin.
Hello, Alan. What has Shooting Star and Black Fly got in common?
Shooting Star and Black Fly. I'm going to hate this. What have they got in common?
They're both rip-off Shahoo!
Rip-off Shahoo? I don't understand it. Hello, Brian.
Hello. I'd like to talk about politics, Alan.
I'm sure you would.
Yes. Are you a Conservative?
That's a survey, that's not talking about.
No, well, I'd like to have a debate about it. Because I don't like Conservatives. I think they're ruining our country.
Am I ruining our country?
No. I want to know, do you agree with the Conservative government and their policies?
Brian, you would have to be more specific, wouldn't you, really? I've never seen a party, be it Conservative, Labour, Communist, National Front or any other, whose policies I agreed with in their entirety. And may I also ask you, is this the first time you've listened to the programme?
Yes.
It is. Then stay tuned for the next month or so, and you will find the answer to your question disguised within the content of the programme. All right?
Right.
Good night. Hello, Dave.
Hello, this is Dave from Balfour.
So?
Yeah, I'd very much like to talk to you about the Official Secrets Act.
I'm sure you would.
But I can't tell you because it's a secret.
How awfully humorous. Hello, Frog. Have you got a proper name? Oh, Trog. It doesn't matter if you've still got a proper name. Let me know when you're big enough to hold the ale that you've been swilling round on your innards for the past 12 hours by the sound of it. Robert, how are you?
How are you, alright?
Very good. What do you want?
I want to speak to Alan Beswick.
Well, this is him. What do you want?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, I listen to the radio as well.
Well, don't.
Yeah, a couple of nights ago, you mentioned that the Nazis, as opposed to the Germans, were a despicable race for having tried to destroy the Jews. Well, while I quite agree with you, nobody ever mentions that the American race, which is one of our close allies, have already disposed of one nation completely, i.e. the Red Indian.
Well, they haven't disposed of it.
And I would ask you what you think is any difference between what the Americans have done to the Indians and what the Nazis were trying to do to the Jews, which is both reprehensible.
Yes. Well, you asked me what I think. The answer is there is no similarity whatsoever for two reasons, two very big reasons. One, the Americans have not done away with the Red Indian races altogether. They still exist. Two, they are integrated into American society, which Jewish people would never have been in Nazi society. It was not the objective of the American people to do away with Red Indians. It was merely the objective to steal all their land. And quite honestly, I cannot see a difference between the two. However, the American people that did that were more British than American, were more Spanish than American, were in fact more every race than American. They were the people, the people that went out there, the people that left Britain, the people that left those other places. And those were not the Americans we know today. The Americans we know today are a rather different kettle of fish.
For a comment, but what do you call an American then?
An American now is a person born in the United States of America, with all that entails.
Whose forefathers were the exterminators of the Red Indian.
The answer to that is yes, they were, but it was not the race today that did it.
When you draw the comparison between the two, there's very little difference, is there?
There's very little difference in the act, and I've already conceded that. The difference is that the Germans were only one generation away from the Germans that were doing that. We are many generations away from the Spanish, French, probably German, British, Irish that were doing it then.
Yeah, I quite agree with you.
So the people that were doing it were actually British. The people that were doing it were actually British. That doesn't make it any better.
No, but doesn't it die into oblivion after one or two generations have passed?
Of course it does.
Is that what's going to happen to the German situation?
I doubt it, because the Jewish people won't let it, and nor should they.
No, I quite agree with you.
Okay?
Good night.
Good night. I'll do it to Paul.
Hello, Al. I'd like to talk about people. 5 in particular. Lou.
Good night, Paul. Hello, Carl.
Hello, Mr. Beswick.
Yeah.
I'd just like to talk about, when you were saying the other night about the Japanese, they're cruel and that, and about the Germans. Well, what about the English, right, in Captain Cook days when he went over to Australia?
Paul, were you listening a few moments ago?
Me? No, I've only just switched on.
You've just switched on. Paul, you're a liar.
Let me finish.
Paul, you're a liar. You were actually listening.
Carl.
Well, all right, Carl, you're still a liar. You were listening a moment ago on the telephone to a conversation I had 2 calls ago. And I had exactly the same conversation then. Pick the bones out of the answers I gave to him. Hello, David.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Don't call me sir. I work for a living.
Well, I believe you were taking a big jump on Sunday, yes?
Well done.
Well, I'm getting married on Saturday, so if you'd like to come to the wedding reception, I will do the jump with you on Sunday, okay?
Why should I come to your wedding reception?
Well, I don't blame you if you don't, because I'm 2 minds myself.
Right, well, there you are. She mustn't be a very nice girl, but I'm sure she is. She's just a bit dim marrying you. Hello, Winston.
Hello, Alan.
Let's talk about England.
Well, go on. Glory. He's a good talker, isn't he? Simon, don't go away. We'll be with you soon.
Hi there, this is David Kidd Jensen, your Sunday afternoon Red Rose voice, hoping you'll join me this week for the nation's most up-to-date music survey, the Network Chart, Sunday at 5.
Will you be taking part in the Great Fletcher Summer Treasure Hunt? This weekend you could win a colour TV or any one of 10 superb children's prizes by visiting the fully furnished Fletcher show homes at Church View, West Horton. Superb Fletcher 3-bedroom detached homes start at £29,950, including central heating. Come and join our treasure hunt and see our collection at Church View, West Horton. You could end up winning a colour TV for your new Fletcher home. For details, see your local press.
Hello, somebody. Simon, how are you doing?
Hello, Alan. I'd like to talk about the satirical genius of Alexander Pope. And you.
Well, talk.
Oh, I thought you pissed off. Sorry.
No, I'm still here.
Well,
but I am what you said.
Well,
go on.
Basically, I'd like to say that he's a genius.
Well, yes, I realise that.
I particularly admire his great work in The Rape of the Lock, but...
Very good.
His lesser-known work's also great.
Very good. Is that it?
No, but I'll hang up now anyway.
Okay. Jean, how do?
Hello, Alan.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, we've done all that. What do you want?
Alan?
Yes?
Oh, I want to talk about the gas board.
What do you want to say about the gas board?
Well, 12 weeks ago, my daughter got married, and they've been staying with me because they were saving up to...
Who, the gas board?
You know, no.
Oh, your daughter and son-in-law? Yes.
And anyway, last week they got a flat, and the landlord said that they would have to have the gas switched on. So they got in touch with the gas board, and apparently it was in the debt collector's hands for the previous tenants. So they said that my daughter would have to pay a £50 deposit for future bills. Now, I don't think that my daughter and son-in-law should be penalised for other people's debts.
I'm sure they shouldn't either. There is something she can do about it, and that is they can get an order from the magistrate's court telling the gas board that they're not, on this occasion, permitted to charge that deposit.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's the only way.
Yeah, you see, they've had to fork out for a gas cooker, fridge, curtain...
Yeah, I am aware what people have to put into flats. Jean, that is the answer to your question. Now, if you want to discuss it, you're wasting your breath.
Okay.
That is the course. Okay. The gas board are legally entitled to ask for that deposit and demand it. However, your daughter has a right, and that is to go to the magistrate's court and get that demand waived. Now, the gas board will then have to convince the magistrates that the deposit should remain. But you'll usually find that if your daughter writes to the gas board and says she's going to the magistrate's court to get an order to have the deposit waived, the gas board will more than likely say, oh, forget it.
Yeah, thanks very much, Alan.
Cheers, ta-ra. I'll do to nobody, 'cause it's melodic moment time, aren't we all pleased about that? Oh, come on, you got to join in a bit.
Red Rose Radio. He walked into my office, bowled this brass and parked his body on my desk. Eyes everywhere. He spotted the Head and Shoulders in my desk drawer. I didn't know you had dandruff, he said. I don't, I said.
Most people who use Head and Shoulders regularly don't have dandruff, just healthy-looking, attractive hair.
So, what are you doing on Thursday evening, he asked. I pushed the drawer shut with my foot and said, just what you should be doing, washing my hair with Head and Shoulders.
Most people who use Head and Shoulders regularly don't have dandruff, just healthy-looking, attractive hair.
Take your scrap to CSM, Preston's top scrap metal men. They pay a better price, so this is our advice. Go to CSM.
Turn your scrap metal into cash. Best prices 6 days a week at Carlton Street Metals off Fylde Road, Preston. Phone 729949.
Go to CSM. CSM.
We simply don't have time to do all the shopping today.
Of course we do. Look, we only need a couple of birthday cards and a box of chocks for Auntie Sarah.
I wanted some stationery.
And I promised Tony I'd buy him one of those new board games.
I could do with a new computer program and a couple of books and newspapers.
What about that record you said you'd buy me for my birthday?
See, I told you we couldn't get everything today.
Yes, we can. At John Menzies. They stock everything we need and more. It's like having 7 stores all under one roof.
John Menzies at Cleveland, Preston, Wigan and Barrow.
You're really on target piloting a square deal Capri laser from Bradshaw's. Yup, our square deal offer means a Capri laser for just £6,299 on the road. That's over £720 off normal Ford price. Fly down to Bradshaw's, Marsh Lane, Preston now for this and all our other square deals, or phone 54083 for details.
The melodic moment this evening, courtesy of Astrid Gilberto, and the girl from Ipanema, and Enid, and would you believe, a song called And Then There Were None. 18 minutes to 1, if you want to join us you can. It's 0772 56 1000. How do to our next caller, who's called Darren. Are you alright? Hello, Darren. Darren's pigged off. Hello, Darren. Goodbye, Darren. Hello, Robert.
Hello, Alan. It's Robert again. I'm willing to agree with you that I do gain pleasure from the hunt of hunting rabbit.
Oh, you were on before.
Yeah.
Oh, you only get one go a night, pal. How do, Tom?
Hello, Alan. I was wondering if you'd heard about the Fleetwood man who drunk the battery acid.
Tell us the oldest joke in the world. Go on.
Oh, you know I do.
Of course I do.
Oh, well.
Good night. How do, Ray?
Well, listen, did you find the leak in your roof?
I've not found it yet, no.
I was going to say I'll come down and give you the price for it.
I can't afford to pay. Good God. Hey?
You're loaded.
Well, whether I'm loaded or not is irrelevant. Rich people are people that don't spend money. If I can still amble up a ladder, I'll do it myself. But night, thanks for the offer. How do, Alan?
Hello, Alan.
Hello, Alan.
I've been listening this last couple of nights.
Oh, good.
I know, it's terrible. And I've found out, just by listening, that you're anti-blood sports.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Why?
Because I think they're cruel.
So you think fishing's cruel, do you?
Yes.
And you really think that fishing is responsible for the pollution in, the lead pollution in swans?
I'm prepared to debate that, but whether it's fishing or shooting doesn't really bother me. They're both as vile as each other.
Well, I go shooting, but I only go shooting for what I can eat.
I see.
Would you frown on that?
Yes, I would.
Why?
Because I don't like the idea, and I don't believe you.
You don't believe that I'll go shooting just for what I can eat?
That's right.
Well, I don't shoot anything unless I can eat it.
I see.
When you go to
like I said, I don't believe you.
Well, that's fair enough. When you go to a restaurant, do you have meat?
I eat meat quite frequently. I am not a vegetarian. Yes, I do know it's cruel to kill animals. I am prepared to kill animals for food. If you're doing that, then I don't disapprove. However, I don't believe you.
Why not?
I don't feel like.
Well, wait a minute. You're saying...
I don't have to wait a minute.
All right.
Basically, Ray, Alan, I do not believe that you kill and just eat what you kill. All right?
Well, I also feed my animals off it.
Fine. Like I said, Alan, I don't believe you. We've come to terms with that. Now, we don't need to go any further, do we? If what you were telling me was the truth, I would say it was acceptable. But I don't believe you.
It is the truth.
Fine. That doesn't alter what I believe. Good night. Hello to Ian, I think it was.
Oh,
yes.
Alan.
Are you alright?
Hi. There's been some conversations on your programme about dog fighting.
Yes, they have, and I'm sick of them. Have you got anything new to say about it?
Yeah, well, no.
Good, well, get off then. I'll do to Roman.
Hello, Mr. Busy. I'd like to talk about obese people.
What would you like to say about them?
Well, I think they are
apart from they're all fat. You think they're what?
They're all lazy slobs.
Lazy slobs.
Yeah.
Very good. How very, very romantic of you, Roman. Mark, how are you?
Thanks.
I'd like to talk about the way everyone's going on about Rambo. You know the film?
Oh, yes.
And
I'm not going on about it, so everyone isn't. But what have you got to say about it?
Well, I just think it's terrible, because... You know,
what, the film's terrible?
Pardon?
You think the film's terrible?
No, I think it's sound, but...
Oh, I see.
I think, you know, if anyone wants to, doesn't want to watch it, then you don't have to, do they?
Exactly.
Yeah, and, you know, what's all the fuss like? Everyone's getting a jock on.
Well, I don't even know what you mean by that, and I'm dread to ask. Hello, Elizabeth.
Hello, yes. I'd like to talk about men in nightclubs. How they behave, actually, towards
Well, I'm sure they don't all behave... Are you still there, Elizabeth?
Blackpool, yeah.
Yes, good. I've disconnected a bit of what you just said, because you're not allowed to name names, so you've just been driven out of a nightclub in Blackpool. We'll settle for that, all right?
We find this quite often. Myself and my friend, we both have steady boyfriends, but one night a week we like to go out just for a dance on our own. That's all we go out for, a couple of drinks, a dance and a laugh with the girls. Unfortunately, men are continuously chatting us up, and when we say, look, we're not interested or whatever, they're just accusing us of we're out on the cop, as they put it, or we're out chatting women up, or we're out chatting anything up. We're just out for men. Well, do you think
that's
right?
Because they are not mature enough, adult enough, or aware of their own presence enough to think that just because some woman doesn't want to sleep with you, they start to think there's something wrong with them. This is because, basically, men are children.
Well, I'd agree with that, but the age range is not from, like, 20 to 30, it's like 20 to 50.
Yes, I know, but men, and I include myself in this in many ways,
you're
but
like
not
this,
that
are you,
one. No, I'm not like that in actual fact, but I do include myself in the fact that men at heart are children. Now that childishness manifests itself in different ways in different men. The majority of men, I am prepared to agree with you, have it manifested in the absolutely appalling way of having to prove their manhood to themselves all the time, and the only way you can prove your manhood in their mind is to shove your willy into some bird. That's their terminology, not mine. I disapprove of it as much as you do. I think it's diabolical.
Well, why should a man, for instance, come up to you at the bar and say, would you like a drink? You get chatting, and then the next second it's, if you don't mind the terminology, will you drop them?
Quite. There's no reason for it. The reason for it is because they are basic. I will tell you, it's basically that they are inadequate and they have to prove to themselves that they are big, strong men, when in fact they're just big sissies.
So you will agree with me that the women are superior quality, but we don't expect that when we buy a man a drink.
I don't often get drinks bought for me by women.
Oh, I'll buy you a drink anytime.
That's very kind of you. Now you're as suggestive as the men. However, I don't think women are superior. I don't think they are inferior. I am pleased to say that they are different.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad somebody had noticed.
Well, I don't know you. But that's all. Women are just different to men. And indeed, men are different to each other. But there are an awful lot of us who are dirty little groping lechers, and quite honestly I think they should be blindfolded and handcuffed and thrown in the sea.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's all right.
So when I meet one, can I send him to you?
If he's very small, yes. All right.
Thank you very much, Alan.
Cheers, ta-ra. I'll do to Burr. Are you...
Hello, Mr. Beswick.
Are you Fuzzy Burr? What's your proper name?
Briarfield Burr.
What's your proper name?
Briarfield Burr.
You've just lost the chance to speak, but then you would do. I think you've got the mange. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Alan.
Yes?
Hello, you was talking to some fella before and you said...
I've talking to lots of fellas. Would you like to tell me what you've got to say?
Well, you was on about rugby and...
What have you got to say?
Well, I was arguing with my mate and we was wondering...
Well, why don't you go back to arguing with your mate? It's probably your intellectual level and therefore you can each be thick to each other. Craig, what do you want?
Can I talk about paranoia?
Not to me, you frighten me.
What?
Because I'm paranoid. Good night. How do Paul?
Hello.
Hello.
I only sent him for fresh lettuce when he came back from the chemist.
Oh, I see. It's you. You've gone again. Another Tom. Hello.
Am I on?
I have no idea. You're talking to me, if that's what you mean.
Well, this is Tom.
Yes, I realise it's Tom. Hello.
An introduction. Oh, I want to talk about inflation.
What, of footballs?
Eh?
Inflation of footballs or some other?
No, the money way, you know.
Oh, I see. The fiscal inflation.
Why some brain of Britain doesn't come forward with the idea that everybody keeps asking for a rise in pay to combat inflation, whereas in fact by doing that they're creating inflation.
Yes, everybody's aware of that.
Well, they don't seem to be, because they keep giving...
Well, they do. Tom, the problem is, you see, that what people want is more money for them. Now, it's all very well if you're earning £200,000 a year and you say, well, all I want is enough money to cover inflation.
No.
If you're earning 20 quid a week, then you're rather more interested in getting more than that. But, of course, if you are earning 20 quid a week and somebody makes it 40, then you contribute to inflation. Everybody wants more money. I don't remember ever hearing anybody, although I am aware of certain groups of people, but I can't remember anybody saying, no, I don't want to rise this year.
No, the point I want to make is this, that if a person is making something or producing, this is where everybody rides on the back of the person who's producing.
Yes.
If they want more money for producing the same thing, then the cost of that thing goes up in price, and the people who are not producing that, their money is reduced. I'm a pensioner.
Well, of course it is, but what about the poor sucker? What about the poor sucker that's doing the producing when he finds his bread's gone up, his electric's gone up, his phone bill's gone up, his petrol's gone up? What's he meant to do? Sit back and say, well, I'll keep producing this because Tom thinks it's okay. Tom, when you worked, you're now retired, when you worked, did you get a pay rise most years?
Not really, no.
Not really?
No.
You earned the same for 50 years?
No, I've been retired 20 years.
Okay. I asked you the question about when you were working.
Yeah, well...
However long you've been retired, absolutely irrelevant.
My wage was set.
Forever?
My wage was set.
Forever? Did it never increase?
Very little, actually.
Very little?
Very little, yeah.
So you worked for 50 years of your life, and at the end...
No, 30 years.
Okay. In those 30 years, you're telling me that your wage at the end of the 30 years was almost the same as it was at the beginning?
Oh, God, no. The inflation has taken over.
I'm sorry. So you did get pay rises?
Oh, yeah, I got pay rises.
Did you refuse any of them?
Good God, no.
Why not?
No, but I did.
Tom, you cannot expect the people of today to refuse pay rises when you, 30 years ago, did. The reason inflation is like it is today is because of you lot grabbing years ago.
No, Alan...
You're to blame as much as anybody. You're no innocent party in this. Get off. Who do you think you're kidding? Hello, Jane.
Hello. I was wondering, if you stop up all night, will the Atlantic Challenger have arrived? Because on every news bulletin it gets a bit closer. It set off being just under 200.
I see.
And then it was 140. Then it was 130. And the last bulletin it was just under 100.
You never may make it yet then.
Okay.
Okay. I think it's got something to do with the fact that there's very little information and they start saying, well, we know it was under 200. And then as they get specific information, they discover it's rather more near than that. And anyway, it sounds more exciting, doesn't it?
Yeah, so we're not going to break the record.
Cheers. Ta-ra. Somebody who frequently calls himself B-Fan, what do you want and what's your name?
It's Keith.
Right. Keith, allow me to tell you, the next time you come on this phone-in, if I hear that nickname, I will not talk to you. What do you want?
What do you call... how can you tell which family a Scotsman comes from?
I've no idea, nor do I want to know. Hello, Steve.
Hi. Alan, I've been a listener for about 2 weeks now and thoroughly enjoyed most of the program.
Good, thank you.
Night and day. Hello, Percy Braithwaite here.